Imagine how simple life would be if we could always make decisions in a completely rational way, carefully analyzing every option, comparing outcomes, and choosing the best possible one. That would be ideal, but in reality, that rarely happens. Not because the rational decision-making model is wrong, but because it's not consistent with how people actually make decisions. The limits of rationality. The rational model assumes a few things that simply aren't true in real life. First, it assumes that people clearly understand what the real problem is, but very often, we only see the symptoms of a problem, not its root cause. For instance, a company might see declining sales and think, "We need better marketing," when the real issue could be poor product quality or shifting customer preferences. Different managers might even have completely different views of what the actual problem is. Second, the model assumes that people know all their available options. That's almost never the case. In most situations, there are far too many choices to even identify, let alone evaluate. Think about choosing what to eat. Technically, there are millions of possibilities. There's no way anyone can consider them all. Third, it assumes that people make unbiased and objective decisions. But human beings have biases. We rely on shortcuts, stereotypes, and emotions. For example, many people either love or hate Apple products. That emotional attachment, whether positive or negative, can affect our choices, no matter how much we try to be rational. Finally, the rational model assumes that people want to make the best or optimal decision. But sometimes, we just want to make a decision that feels good in the moment, something that's good enough, even if it's not perfect. Because of these limits, researchers began to look for more realistic ways to explain how people actually make decisions. Bounded rationality and good enough decisions. Herbert Simon, a Nobel Prize-winning scholar, introduced the idea of bounded rationality. He argued that humans have limited information, limited time, and limited mental capacity, so instead of trying to make the perfect decision, we often settle for one that's good enough. He called this approach satisficing, a combination of satisfy and suffice. For example, many college graduates don't search every job in the country before choosing where to work. They focus on one region, and often accept the first offer that meets their main requirements. It may not be the best possible job, but it's good enough, and it reduces the risk of ending up with no job at all. The bounded rationality model saves time, reduces stress, and allows people to move forward without being paralyzed by too many choices. When too much information hurts. Without analysis. Paralysis. Have you ever felt stuck because there were too many options? That's called analysis paralysis. Our brains aren't built to handle endless data. Research shows that even with as few as 2 or 3 criteria, we struggle to truly optimize a choice. Take laptops, for example. If you're comparing performance, weight, and battery life, you'll quickly notice that improving one factor often worsens another. A lighter laptop might have less battery life, or less processing power. There's rarely a perfect combination. When we gather too much information, we reach a point where we can't process it all effectively. We overthink, hesitate, and sometimes end up making no decision at all. To avoid this, experts recommend setting limits. Choose a few key criteria that matter most, trust your judgment, and move forward. Sometimes, done is better than perfect. Intuitive decision-making. In fast-moving situations where time is limited, people often rely on intuition. Intuition is not random guessing. It's the use of experience, pattern recognition, and gut feeling. Studies show that about 89% of managers admit using intuition to make decisions at least sometimes, and more than half say they use it often. For example, firefighters or airline pilots often make split-second decisions that can't wait for detailed analysis. They scan the situation, recognize patterns that resemble past experiences, mentally simulate possible outcomes, and act on the best option that feels right. Intuition works well for experts because it's built on years of practice and experience. For beginners or those unfamiliar with a situation, intuition is less reliable, but for professionals, it can be a powerful and efficient decision tool. The creative decision-making process. Sometimes, a problem requires thinking beyond the usual patterns. That's where creative decision-making comes in. This process involves 4 main stages. First, problem recognition. Clearly define the issue you're trying to solve. Second, immersion. Gather information and think deeply about the problem. Third, incubation. Step away. Let your subconscious mind work on it in the background. You may have experienced this when you can't solve a puzzle, give up, and then the answer suddenly comes to you later. Lastly, illumination, and verification. The aha moment when a creative idea emerges, followed by checking whether it's realistic and implementing it. Creative ideas can be measured in 3 ways. Fluency, how many ideas you can generate. Flexibility, how different those ideas are from one another. Originality, how unique your ideas are compared to others. True creativity lies in the overlap of all 3, when you can produce many ideas that are both different and original. Techniques to boost creativity. Organizations often use techniques like brainstorming, where participants are encouraged to share as many ideas as possible without judgment. Another variation is wildstorming, where teams imagine impossible ideas and then think of ways to make them possible. These exercises push people beyond routine thinking and can lead to surprisingly innovative solutions. Some companies even rely on crowdsourcing, inviting ideas from large groups or the public. Netflix, for example, once offered a $1 million prize to anyone who could improve their movie recommendation algorithm. The winning team improved its accuracy by more than 10%. Summary and reflection. In this part, we learned that the rational model doesn't always reflect how people make decisions. Bounded rationality accepts our cognitive limits and focuses on good enough choices. Too much analysis can lead to paralysis, preventing decisions altogether. Intuition and creativity play a major role, especially when time is short or problems are new. Before you move on, take a moment to think about this question. When was the last time you relied on intuition instead of analysis to make a decision? Was it a good outcome, or one you would approach differently now?